There is a podcast about an island in the North Atlantic where people have been looking for an incredible treasure for more than 200 years.
Hello, and welcome back to Could It Be?
An Oak Island podcast.
We are your hosts, Deidre and Dustin White.
Hey, what's up?
Hey!
Good to see you. I think I see you every day, though.
You saw me before we were here. It's not like a magical world where we only see each other on the internet.
How about it's good for them to see us?
It's good to see you
yeah.
if I could see through my camera.
Yeah, we can't. But hello.
Hi.
Hey, so we're going to try something a little bit different.
Yep.
And we are going to jump right into Oak Island stuff.
Straight up Oak Island.
Straight up Oak Island. Except for this one thing. Okay. So we got a lot of new viewers on YouTube last week.
Wow, that was a shocker.
Yeah, like, I don't know. We're new to this YouTube thing. Like last week we had like 300 or 400 views of our podcast. And this week we have over 4,000.
Yikes. Okay?
So a lot of people seem to like it. A lot of people, we had some constructive feedback as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to read one thing that's a little bit of constructive feedback.
Mm-hmm.
So that you guys know why we're switching things up, because we just want to try this and maybe this will work. Maybe we'll go back to the other format. Whatever, right?
Yep.
All right. So this was from Nunya Business. Like legit, this person's name is Nunya Business.
Well, it's Nunya Business.
Yeah. It's that Nunya Business says, seems like very nice people doing the podcast, but the viewers like myself came for information on Oak Island, and the recap doesn't start until 10 plus minutes into the podcast. So that might cause a lot of viewers to simply click off, hence, maybe, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know if that's the case or not. We're going to try this just to see if it's any different or any better for all y'all. So,
all right,
let's try. So let's jump into Oak Island. How did you enjoy the episode this week?
I liked the episode quite a bit. Episode 3.
Yeah.
The Eye of the Swamp.
The Eye of the Swamp.
Plus there is, some fun explosionness at the end of the episode.
Yeah, we'll save that for then.
For the end?
Yes.
I think that's a good idea.
Because I want to say a 4-letter word right now, but I don't want to overdo it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Not a bad 4-letter word, you know what I'm saying? It starts with a B, ends with an M, and it has 2 O's in the middle. But anyway, so we're chatting in the war room at the beginning of the show, right?
Yeah.
And I think Rick's like, all the usual suspects are here, right? Yeah, like, so
all the regular shifty and non-shifties. And
yeah, the only person I was missing was Billy.
I know.
But Jack Attack is back.
Jack Attack is back.
Yeah.
He was found safe.
We had Jack found, like, he's safe. Like, we were worried about Jack
for 1.5 episodes, and we were concerned.
More than 1.5. He was like in the first 5 minutes of the first episode.
Okay, we're on episode 3. He can't be really gone for that.
I know, but it's funny because there was a thing going around on Facebook, Twitter, I think probably Reddit too, right?
Who knows?
Of people wondering, hey, where's Jack? We haven't seen Jack on the island yet.
Yeah, because usually the dynamic duo is there.
Yeah, Gary and Jack.
Yep.
Tearing it up.
Except for now, I think it's Gary and Charles.
Yeah, Gary and Charles look like they're the new dynamic duo.
They're plotting.
Yeah, I wonder if Jack feels threatened.
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, they were off-roading together. He's kind of encroaching on the territory.
Yeah, well, whatevs, right?
Whatevs.
The show must go on.
Yes, the show must go on.
Yeah, we're just happy to have Jack back because he's just a fun part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And we made some fun, like, little meme things for our Facebook. Yeah, isn't that what it is? Memes?
Memes.
Yeah, they're meme. No, they're memes. Like, with an S, it's memes, isn't it?
Is there a...
Is it memes?
Yes,
okay.
I believe so. I don't think they're called memes. Obviously, we're really good at this internet thing.
Okay, so, we made these memes, right? Of where's Jack with in a Where's Waldo get up.
Yeah.
And where's Jack in the Carmen Sandiego get up.
Yep.
And then, but once he was found, we made one that said, found safe, right?
Yes.
And it's like it's a picture of him with him covered up in mud and muck
from the wash table.
From the wash table. But is just really funny because it looked like he just literally crawled out of the swamp.
Yeah. Well, we're off track again.
We're not off track. We're talking about Jack.
Yeah, but he's the war room.
Yeah. Okay. So let's continue with the war room. I'm just
war
happy
room.
to see Jack.
I'm happy to see
I'm
Jack
glad you
too.
are.
He's a usual suspect in the
is.
war room.
Yeah.
And Dr. Ian Spooner,
Yep.
the geoscientist. He's
Pretty
there.
sweet title.
That is a pretty sweet title.
Mm-hmm.
And he is there to tell him about those samples.
Yeah,
from
he's
the core.
the swamp expert. That's right.
Yes, he's the swamp expert. Okay, so Terry is more focused on rock, like
geology.
rock
geology. Yep. Rock.
And this guy, Dr. Spooner, is more focused on sediments from wet areas, ponds, swamps, wetlands, bogs, lakes, ponds. I don't know, maybe I already said that.
And what was he was describing something about the layers and like the centimeters, how much they build up over time, like how thick that is.
Every centimeter is an indication of about 10 years.
Oh, okay. You know how, so 1 centimeter is it's not quite half an inch, but it's more than a third of an inch. It's like 0.4 inches. So
it's about that much, like the tip of my finger when I measured in math class.
Okay. That's a centimeter.
Yeah. 1 centimeter. In case, you ever forget your ruler. Okay. 1 centimeter.
1 centimeter is your one finger. My finger's a lot bigger than yours.
Well, your centimeter is bigger than my centimeter.
Probably.
Sorry. Oh, geez. But I was thinking about it, and to me, I just kind of liked it to tree rings. They take a core sample, and based off the year, because he's explaining that he evaluates based off of other samples from other I was going to say like-minded, but similar wet areas, environments.
There you go.
To compare them against sounds like a lot of that dating with the wood.
So he's kind of like a swamp dendrochronologist.
That's the word. Yes, he's a swamp dendrochronologist. Chronologist.
I think.
Yeah, because yeah, that one.
That one.
So, and he says it's like reading a book.
Yeah, and then when he was getting down to it, he was like, the swamp's like maybe 300 or 400 years old. And that's pretty significant if we think that it may have been man-made or previously two islands, right?
Yes, or like Dave asked, he's like, so is it not ever two islands? But he said, well, I think it could have been at least two drumlins. Okay. And so, I remember you say that's why they use drumlins in the last episode.
Yeah, that's why they threw that up. So a drumlin, I pulled up the definition.
Ooh.
Is a low oval mound or small hill, typically one of a group consisting of compacted boulder clay molded by past glacial action.
Well, we know that is it the east side of the island that's mostly
rocky, like slate?
No, the other side.
Oh, that's west. No, that's east. North.
East would be the limestone side, which is formed when there's a massive glacial water evaporation. Okay. And then we know the other side is compacted slate, which is going to be from high pressure deep within the earth and high heat. Well, this idea of the drumlin, like you're saying, being that we already know that there's evidence of glacial water evaporation because of the type of rock, makes sense. Check. I'm no geoscientist, but checks out.
Yeah, well, it's funny that we're talking about this and that this is, well, I mean, maybe it's not funny because it's just part of the show that came up.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Well, one of our listeners, his name's Reggie Wood, he sent me this image, and we'll put this image on Facebook, on our Facebook page, but this is Oak Island before it separated from the mainland, right? You see the
okay. There? I see the...
And it's a picture of Mahone Bay in about 400 AD. That's what this image says. So that's about 2,500 years ago, a long time ago. But it has Oak Island
But this is a drawn.
I can't really show you on the
image.
YouTube video, but yeah, it's a map though that that's like it's suspected that it was still part of the mainland, and that would be the rocky area that had separated and caused became an island after that, and the other piece was always has been floating or touching the water for much longer, obviously. So that's just pretty interesting.
So it was like a peninsula instead of an island.
Yes. A while ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a peninsula, and but I mean, this shows it as one piece, not two separate islands. So no, this is just a representation, but it's a fun one, and I'm glad he shared it with us.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So thank you, Reggie.
Yes, thank you. And then back to the war room instead of 400 AD. We're time traveling.
How about the year of our Lord 2019? Lord Billy of Gerhardt.
Billy is the king.
Yeah, the year of our Lord.
Yeah, I guess that works out. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so Spooner.
Yes. Yeah, it's showing him doing some testing in the swamp with Alex. Did you see that?
Well, I saw that they went back out with his team, right? And pulled up some further samples.
I thought that was I thought they were showing a flashback of that happening. And then, that's where the results that they were looking at came from.
So Dr. Spooner went back out with some of his team, just a couple of his crew members in the dinghy. Maybe Alex was with him. And then they went out and were pulling additional samples from different areas. And that's where we got to talking about the eye.
The eye of the swamp?
Could it be?
It was previously called the pond, apparently.
Apparently. And the pond has not changed, really.
For a long, long time. At least since, what was it, the 20s or the 30s? Was that the first aerial photo they showed?
Whatever the first aerial photo they showed. And it's really consistent.
Those aerial photos were pretty cool. They were showing, from the 1920s and then the 1940s and the 1970s and 80s and 90s and or however many they did. But it was a cool little, progression. And it was neat to see that much of the swamp kind of had changed with the vegetation growing over it or whatnot.
Which makes sense.
But that circular area,
something was keeping things from growing there.
Yeah. So what is it?
Well, Dr. Spooner had mentioned when they were out there, it felt like some type of rock was around there in a circular or oval fashion.
Yeah.
And they're like, really? Really?
So haven't they drained the swamp a few times?
That was my thought, but
maybe it's just the part closer to the shore.
I guess because when they brought the people out to talk about draining the swamp, that area seemed to be particularly problematic, as if maybe it was a lot deeper, or obviously it's particularly wet. But if there's a circular feature up there, my initial thought is a well or a spring, and that's why you would put the stones around it. I mean, we've seen circular wells and springs on the island, and we saw Gary in one last season.
Yeah, maybe. Don't know. The word drumlin. Like I'm looking at it on Google here with the definitions. It didn't even that's a newer word as far as language goes. It's like from the 1870s.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I don't know what that means.
It just means we're calling it something different than what they did then.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go. Good call. But yeah, I don't know. This whole thing, I mean, they go out and with Gary and do some metal detecting out in the swamp, right?
Yes.
And he finds a lot of iron hits in that area. So would that be consistent with what you're saying about a possible well? I don't know. Why would there be metal all around it?
Well, if they were building something man-made around it, it would make sense that they would be using something to help fasten those together if they want it to be particularly stable.
Yeah.
And the two drumlins, or what they consider two hills or mountains, and if it was all one island, that would be a low point.
The valley.
Yes, and that would be an easier place to put in a well, right? You're going to hit water there before you're going to hit it up on the hill.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
So it would only make sense that if people were indeed inhabiting the island, that you would put a well at a low point if you need water quickly. So to me, a well and a spring being there would make sense as to why that whole top of the swamp would be harder to drain, because there's still going to be water coming in. Who knows if they can drain it out, but sounds like with the techniques they've got, maybe it's just an entrance to back door to the money pit. It could be.
That's what they want us to think, right?
Yeah. Okay. So I want to skip around here, because we see on the next week on, Jack's like, it's the entrance. Let's go dig it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Which one?
Yeah. Which one, Jack?
Okay. So is the eye the entrance? Is the swamp anomaly the entrance? Is whatever out in Smith's Cove the entrance? Where's the entrance that they need to dig up?
They probably start talking about those ice holes again.
Ice holes. What you said. So the ice holes, there's also an eye hole now.
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow.
I can't help myself.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fun. Sure.
Well, right, because the ice holes never completely, they don't freeze over.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you the eye hole doesn't.
Probably not.
I want to see some very cold weather and whether or not the eye hole freezes.
Yeah.
That is all I have to say.
That's all you have. Well, I guess we're talking more about Gary being, suited up and in the swamp, right?
Oh, yeah.
Doing his his probing and his pinpointing.
Yes.
And that guy had no desire to get his head in the water, did he?
No.
He's trying to keep his head above that water
I would too.
Stretch. Yeah, I would too. But he went through the effort to get suited up and get a snorkel
just in case.
Yeah. I guess just in case, sure.
Marty said he volunteered.
Marty volunteered?
No, that Marty
yeah.
said that Gary Marty volunteered. You're funny.
There's no chance
that Gary volunteered to get in. And I'm thinking,
What if?
Are you sure he wasn't bribed?
I bet Marty volunteered Gary to go in the swamp. He's like, "Hey, Gary, you want to do it, right?"
Hey, Gary, you volunteered. Marty seems really chipper this season. He almost feels like he's picked up the Rick torch, and Rick is like, "Just have it. I'm tired of being exhausted."
Yeah, Rick kind of looks exhausted this episode and last episode, didn't he? One of our other listeners, Agnes, she reached out to us. She's like, "Rick looks tired, doesn't he?" And I'm like, he kind of does. He hasn't been doing his hair as nice as lately. It's like hanging in front of his eyes. It's not real shaggy. It just looks like he's.
Well, he's probably been outside and the wind's blowing.
Yeah, what he's been doing, he's been working hard.
He has.
That guy's a hard worker.
But, we are in season 7, and the guy has been zealous, just awesome all the way through this. He's gung-ho. And he's putting in so much energy into getting Marty the same way. And now Marty's like, into the eye of the swamp or the storm. And
into the breach.
Yeah, and he hates the swamp, right? Yeah. So Rick's like, I need a nap. Now that Marty's on board, I can take a little break, because he definitely doesn't feel as Rick.
Yeah, I think Marty's feeling that, and he's picking up the slack a little bit. Rick's not slacking at all, but he's his enthusiasm isn't where it used to be.
But what makes Marty excited is the hard science, seeing something unique. He's excited about the swamp because there's an eye now, because there's another anomaly, the one off the peninsula, because there's a road, because they're finding things that are new. There's good evidence there. Rick's like, I always knew, so you need to catch up your excitement. And I think Marty's there to catch up his excitement. That's all I got.
Yeah, well, I mean, I bet you we're just missing the excitement from Rick. He doesn't get, I'm sure they do get filmed a lot, but
all
maybe some of those interesting moments or those moments where he's like showing the excitement just didn't make the cut because they only can, you know, if they film for a week, they can only show like 40 minutes, and that they have to include not just Rick, but you know, everything that's going on when they go on their little side trips, when they're, you know, Rick's not involved in everything.
No, but what we did see was Rick came out to meet, who was it? For the swamp when they're trying to figure out, everybody agrees they want to drain it and excavate it. They don't have a permit to dig in the swamp. They have one to, well, they have it
to drain it.
Yes, they have one to drain it, but not to excavate it. But they have to figure out how to excavate it because they think it's going to be particularly problematic. And wanting to know if it's even doable.
Yeah, so they met up with a contractor named Sean Wilson.
Yes, that's it.
And he suggested doing these. What do they call it? Where they put the boxes into the ground. You know what I'm saying?
How to I know what you're saying.
The trench cage or dig box.
Yes.
To isolate the desired dig area, and then they can scoop it. They can. Okay, so they said that these boxes are like 16 feet tall. Yeah. And they can lower it in, they can put it into the swamp, and it weighs about 2 to 3 tons. So that's like, you know, up to 6,000 pounds. And it'll basically just sink into the swamp, and they won't have to like really do a lot to get it. They may have to do something to pound it down a little bit, but it'll sink in. They'll be able to scoop the stuff out, put it into another box waiting. So that the spoils can be in there, you know, with the gold coins and everything.
Yeah, the shiny gold coins.
You saw that, that funny little animation with, for sure, the spoils are gonna have like gold coins scattered everywhere.
You know, the way they're scattered in there, my first thought is that a constellation? It looks like a constellation. Are they giving us a hint?
It's a star map.
A star map. Could it be?
Could it be? Yeah. So it's just, I don't know. I like the idea of those. That's what a lot of people have been suggesting for a long time. You know, one of these kind of cage kind of deals. You know, when on a lot of the Facebook pages, we'll see people put some kind of like, it's like this isolated cofferdam in the middle of like a river. You know, and you can see all the way down to the bottom, which would be land, and it's just isolated from everything else. So they can put up a, you know, like a, what you call it, like if you're building a bridge or something, you can put your
it's like a circular like the footings when you're putting those in.
Yeah, so I mean, that's what people have been wanting them to do for a while, and it looks like they're going to do it. So that's exciting.
The problem is in a swampy area, so you have to put down some kind of base in order to get down past like the peat, all that. So example, peat moss holds moisture really well. Peat moss is what you have, those little white things when you buy your plants, and they keep them at the grocery store. That helps keep the plants moist for a long period of time. Well, that's the peat moss you find in these swamp areas, and they hold a lot of moisture. So you have to get down past all of that and think about how much is there and see if you can even get to a solid bottom, right? I'm afraid they're going to lose someone in the swamp at this point.
That's where Jack was hiding, remember? Can you see that picture? That's him he literally had just crawled out of the swamp. He had the biggest smile on his face.
Yeah, he did. He was pretty happy. Maybe he got one of those gold coins that were, you know, like, in the spoils.
I've got a golden coin. I've got the golden. Oh,
yeah, that one. I just keep thinking of the never-ending story and the poor horse that gets sucked into the quicksand.
No, that's more of a swamp.
Yeah, whatever. It's swamp-like. It's sad.
Artax? Yeah, Artax, the horse.
Artax, that's right.
Artax, no!
Artax.
And then you have, like, the flying dragon overhead saying, Atreyu! Atreyu! And he, like...
Yeah.
Like, Atreyu's, like, you know, sinking into the swamp as well. And then, you know, Falcor flies over and he grabs him. Isn't that one of the best parts of the movie? It's like one of the saddest parts of the movie and one of the best parts of the movie all at once.
We need a luck dragon on Oak Island.
They can definitely use a luck dragon on Oak Island.
Yeah, they need some They need some luck, and they need someone around to pull people out of the swamp when they
get stuck.
Yeah. Problem solved.
Luck is good.
Luck and a dragon.
Yeah. Okay. So we passed a couple of important things that we needed to touch on about doing the metal detecting and probing in the swamp, because we have Gary going around and he's like, he's like, there's a clank, he's like tapping on stuff with
clank, the hollow. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like metal, and so he goes and he's really, I think, impressed and happy about what he's finding, right? And then Steve Guptill, the surveyor, is like, making sure that everything is noted. Yeah. And so there won't be any complication, or not complication. So there won't be any
complications.
Clear. No, just so that they have records of where everything is, and
which is awesome.
It turns out like every little rock that they were hitting had some type of metal on it, except for one, and that is the eye.
Well, it's near the eye.
It's in the eye, but I thought they called that one. Oh, that's the eye.
Probably.
And
then it's huge.
Well, then they went into the whole eye of Ra thing, the eye of Providence, they called it.
And then we're like, eye of Ra,
eye of Horus, like we've done a lot of Egyptian study doing other treasure hunts.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty, I like that, them trying to make that connection, even though, I think that's mostly production trying to make that connection. I don't know that Marty really believes it. I think he just said,
to be funny, we're into the eye of the storm, and then it's hilarious because we have the whole dollar bill situation.
Well, it says that Franklin Roosevelt, who was a searcher on Oak Island in the past, is the one that put the all-seeing eye on the back of the $1 bill.
Yep, in 1935.
Yeah,
I was like.
Yeah, but these eyes have been used by Egyptians, Templars, Freemasons, right?
They've been around a while.
Didn't Gary look like a holy warrior in that scuba gear with that probe, especially with that probe? That probe was a giant cross.
I just posted before we came on here on Instagram, Gary and his probe, and it looks like a cross.
Yeah.
And my first thought is that's Drayton's cross, because he's looking up and he's like, oh, but I may have put Excalibur in his hands instead, because he's like, oh my gosh, this is this giant cone-shaped boulder, and I feel like Gary's pulling the sword out of it, and now he rules the island.
Well, I thought that was Billy.
No, Billy is King of the Cove.
King of the Cove.
King of the Cove. Wait. But because Billy didn't get in the swamp and pull out the sword.
Okay, so Billy's King of the Cove. Is Gary just King of the Swamp, or is he King of the? You said island. I said
island.
Wow.
I know, but that means that he and Billy are going to have to work together.
Or fight.
Oh no. They're both my favorites. No, Billy's still my favorite. 100%.
Wow. Ouch.
I heart you, Gary, but Billy is
we like
amazing.
All the guys.
We do.
So yeah, the whole Egyptian thing, it was fun to see that, but I don't think that has anything to do with it myself.
No.
Yeah. But it was fun to see.
But I'm going to lean into it.
It filled 5 minutes of time. It filled 5 minutes of time on the episode. So
just lean in. Let's roll with it. We already have, who is it? Okay, so wait, we have Nolan's Cross, which actually goes through the swamp in theory.
Does it? I thought it was just right north of the swamp.
Yeah. And then if there's another potential cone-shaped boulder in the swamp.
Yeah, they were saying that the boulder that what Gary was potentially feeling may have been like one of the Drayton's Cross boulders. Kind of similar. At least what he was describing, but they can't see it, so.
Nope.
But they will soon, I think.
Yep.
Anyway, Marty said that Fred Nolan thought rocks like this were markers. So maybe it was a marker. Maybe
it's just a big rock in a valley.
Maybe you moved that rock and you got the backdoor entrance right there.
That's a big rock to move.
So maybe they had, back when they were depositing all this stuff, they had all their workers and probably slaves, right? Push this giant rock on little rollers, or maybe on the paved wharf, and dumped it right into the swamp, got it over there.
But it's so nicely like laid. I feel like if I'm gonna roll a giant rock down, it's gonna kind of shuffle.
Well, if you put like logs along it, you can just roll it right along it.
True.
So, I don't know. They had ways of doing some complicated stuff back in the day that we can't even, we can imagine, but I mean.
I understand. I mean, pyramids were built, so.
Pyramids were built.
And the Romans and their aqueducts.
Yeah, it's very true. So they had some brilliant minds back then that were ahead of their time that could have figured moving that kind of stuff around. So.
Were they movers and shakers?
They were movers and shakers.
Movers
just like
and
us.
shakers. Yeah. All right. What else do we got? Anything else about the swamp? They have 3 target areas: the eye, the wharf, the ship anomaly.
Yep. I'm excited to see what else they do in the swamp. They're going to drain it. Like, that much is clear.
Yes.
And they're going to excavate whatever.
As long as they get their permits.
Oh, they'll get the permits.
They'll get the permits. It'll probably cost them.
It doesn't matter. They make so much money off the show. They don't care. It's funny. It was funny when a couple of seasons ago they were like having their meeting in the war room, and they're like, man, we can dig one more hole, or we can call it for the year. I mean, the budget's like, and they're like, let's dig one more hole. And it's like, duh, like, come on. The budget's for real, Marty? No, it's not.
Yeah, it is, because there's a reason Marty has money. He knows how to budget.
Yeah, but they're making so much money off the show now.
It doesn't mean you don't have to have a budget. You better calm down.
They were willing to, before they had the TV show and all that money rolling in, they were willing to dig. So
they had no idea it would be as big as this. They literally thought they were going to put a hose down in 10X, start blowing air, and coins were going to come shooting out. So,
very true.
Season 1, episode 1.
Yeah.
That didn't happen, by the way. Sure? In case you were wondering, that did not happen.
They found some interesting stuff, didn't they? I don't remember. We'll have to watch that episode again. It's been a while.
It has been a while. Okay.
So we have Peter, Alex, and Charles going and checking out what those swages were all about, right?
Yep, they had a road trip.
Road trip to St. Mary's.
I like that they sent
Halifax.
Charles with them to, keep the boys in line. To maybe he was teaching them the ways.
Yeah, maybe. You think they're into the Mason stuff?
I think they're apprentices. I think they sent Charles so they could do their apprenticeship work.
Okay.
But
we don't even
theory.
Yeah, you don't even know how that works.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Me neither. So
I'm glad to know you don't know, but you could be keeping the secret from me.
I probably am.
I probably am.
I'm also keeping it from myself, and that's okay. All right, so yeah, they go and talk to Dr. Krista Brousseau and Dr. Sean Yang, right?
Yes.
So those are familiar faces from prior seasons, where they
go
and get these things tested, and they scrape some metal off of one of the, or probably both of the swages. They had them both there, right? So they only showed one.
Shiny.
Yeah, they only showed one being scraped, one test result coming back, but they probably used the better of the two to show on TV.
Well, yeah. I mean, they had to cut time, so we had Eye the Swamp time. So delete one of the swages.
Yep, but I mean, there was some promising stuff. It definitely looks like the swages are very old, prior to 1840, right? And that the reason that they know that is because there was an absence of
manganese.
Is that one of your favorite Clotworthy moments from last year?
It is. It's almost as good as.
No, it's not.
Okay, you're right.
Secret Recipes
written in code.
Yeah, that had to have been like the overall winner last year. That was really good.
Yeah, there's some good ones.
I think there's some good ones. Yeah, this episode we had some good ones. I'm excited to see what you picked.
Oh,
because there's good ones. All right, so no manganese.
No manganese.
And that signifies prior to 1840, because those kind of materials had manganese in it after 1840.
Which means that doesn't disprove Carmen Leg's dating, right?
The blacksmith.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's good.
It's really good.
We were finding that it could be before that, then it'd been like, ooh, yikes.
Yeah, I mean, if there was manganese, it would have killed that. And Carmen Legge said it could be 1400s. It could be,
we still have a wide range.
It probably could be 1800s still, I guess. But it's probably super old. They didn't use that tool, in modern times, obviously. So, I mean, it's encouraging, and I think Alex was encouraged, right?
I thought it was interesting that some kind of perspective that Charles brought to that was that if it is pre 1840, it could, if it was a searcher
tool,
searcher left item, then there's only two groups that we know of it could have come from: the 1795 group, a 3. So
that's John Smith, Daniel McGinnis, and Anthony Vaughn.
Yes. And or the 1803, which was the Onslow group.
Yeah. So,
unless it's other searchers we don't know about,
I guess,
or depositors.
I'm crossing my fingers for depositors, baby.
Yeah. Because
I hope so.
A major tunneling or digging operation. Could it be?
Could it be? It could be.
It could be.
I don't know.
It could be. I'll be on board with that.
That would be pretty sweet. Yeah, I liked Charles's little, input there. That gives it some good perspective. And then, something that shocked me, because we never hear
something
this.
Shocked you?
Yeah, we never hear this. Peter spoke. Like, he's usually just a background player, not doing much talking. I'm sure he's a good worker and a good helper.
Yeah.
But he's just not like the TV presence. They just always put his name up. And I think he has some kind of producer credit or something for the show. Like
I think Alex does. I didn't know Peter.
I think they both do. And I think most of the crew does. Jack is on there. Charles is on there. They all have these like little production credits. So they're getting paid extra. Good job, you guys. I'm glad you worked that into your contracts.
Good job. Everything's negotiable.
Heck yeah. But he had something to say, and it was great. He asked if those companies worked near Lot 21, where these things would have been found. And Charles says they were not focused on that side of the island at all. In, after 1795 and the discovery of the money pit, up until much later, they were not concerned with the west side of the island. Everybody was over at the money pit. So it's funny that on Lot 21, which is on the east side of the, west side of the island, was where these things were found, would not have been where those searchers would have been doing a lot of work.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, that's where we had found things like the brooch. I wouldn't be surprised if more items were found over there, since so many people in their searches have not been focused in those areas.
Well, guess who's focusing on it now, baby?
Gary.
Yeah. Well, not just Gary, just
no,
the whole
all
team.
The people.
Yeah, the whole team. Like that's ripe for the picking, and they're gonna find some good stuff.
They're gonna pick stuff. Okay.
They'll metal detect it and they'll pick it up off the ground. Yes.
Yes. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So that's exciting, and I am stoked to see where that goes.
Yeah.
I'm really happy that they're gonna go and look at these other parts of the island that are largely unexplored. So yay.
You're gonna do a little party on Lot 21.
Heck yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. What else do we have?
Well, we then, I guess, transition to the Smith's Cove area to do some sonic drilling.
Cove / Upper Beach.
Upper Beach of
because
Smith's
it's
Cove.
Not like the Cove.
The Cove?
Yeah, this is
the
closer.
Beach?
This is the Upper Beach. So between the Cove and the cave-in pit.
Yes.
So
something like that.
This little tract of land.
Yeah, well, this tract of land has been, thoroughly at least messed with before. I don't know how good it's been searched, but there's definitely been stuff going on there, and we'll find out about that, or we find out about that a little bit later. But sonic drilling.
Yep.
Is back doing some. They said that their drills, like, they could do the sonic drilling down to 500 feet in depth, and I did not know that. Like,
crazy.
That was something that I was unaware of. So that's cool information. That means whatever's on Oak Island, it's not going to be 500 feet deep. They should be able to at least get to whatever depth, unless it's like one of those cap rocks, right? It's unpenetrable for some reason.
Well, on next week on, we see that it gets stuck.
It's always getting stuck.
Yeah. I mean, that's why you hit it with a hammer, apparently, and it keeps going.
Like our
our daughter likes to say stuck. Like
yeah.
that. It's hilarious.
Yeah. So, I mean, sure. They show us the most intense moments, right?
Well, yeah.
I bet they.
I don't want to see all the boring moments.
Bet they either got through it or they repositioned the drill and did it again, right? That's what they do. But I like seeing the sonic drilling out there. I think that's a fun technique. I think it's a better way to drill. I mean, I don't know if it's a better way to drill. I just like the way that the process goes, and they're able to, make the choice sausage. Is that what they called it?
Choice sausage.
Yeah, the choice sausage, where they would bag up the spoils in those little sausage tubes and bring them to the table, cut them open, let Terry just pick through it at his heart desire.
Terry and Paul were hardcore out there in the sausage.
They seem like a new dream team.
Yeah, they're having a good time.
Yeah. They seem to complement each other.
They do.
And work well together.
Yep.
So, dream team.
Dream team. Could it be?
Could.
It could.
Yeah. So, that was exciting it was exciting to see them get, they're going deeper and deeper, and they're like, the anticipation's building. And like, oh, we're at 90 feet. Oh, this is where we're going to start seeing some stuff. Let's see the stuff.
I love it. Terry's got some new kind of taglines. The zone of interest and the zone of, oh man, he had another one. There was like 3 different zones that he had. Zone of like probability or something, but the zone of interest, I like.
Well, you kind of dropped the ball with the other 2 then. You have the interest one, that's fine, but you said there's probably 2. Next week, I expect you to have figured out what the other zones are.
Oh, give me a break. I'll start.
Maybe one of our listeners will remind us what the other zones are.
Zone of Dynamite.
Oh, don't say that yet. We're not there yet. We're getting close. But we had Dave join Paul and
we have Dave,
Terry.
Rick.
Rick shows up.
Doug shows up.
It's fun.
Dan.
Yeah, but didn't I say Dan?
You said Dave.
Dave, that's right. My bad. Yeah, so it was funny when Rick showed up. They're like, "Oh, perfect timing!" Like he just literally walked up right when they were doing the main.
Yeah, the main
sausage.
The main casing.
Yeah,
he just walks up and all of a sudden, boom, 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 boom. All these like discoveries happen.
Yeah. Yep. Pretty cool. So when they got to the 95 feet to about 99 foot sausage. You were calling it sausage last year, so that's pretty funny that
it is.
That they called it sausage.
Well, that's what it looks like.
Maybe they're listening to our episode. And they're like, "It is sausage."
Yeah, I like to think they listen to our episodes, but I know better.
Yeah. Well, I just liked when Terry was cutting that open. He's like, "Whoa, baby!" And they played that clip a couple times because they did it on the way out to commercial once.
Yeah,
that was pretty funny.
Yeah,
he was pretty stoked about what he was finding there.
It's nice to see a geologist so excited.
Well, I think the dirt was like darker, or like whatever that
it was
clay
blue
was.
Clay.
Okay, it was like, I mean, it was darker though, noticeably darker. And he starts sniffing. He's like, "You smell that? That smells weird." And he's like, "That smells like it's burned or charred or something."
It's still in the till.
Mm-hmm.
And it had like chunks of rock in it.
Oh yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Like, this is definitely.
I mean, when you see the little bits of rocks and stuff, that gets me excited. They're like, "Oh, are you going through flood tunnels now?" Because it's going to be a French drain with probably smaller rocks in it, right? Probably that clay mixed up with small, like a whole bunch of piles and piles of small rocks, making a French drain.
But I wouldn't put clay with the rocks because clay prevents the water from coming.
Yeah, I guess.
Through.
I don't know.
The French wouldn't have done that.
Are you sure?
I am.
Okay. Yeah, possibly. Yeah. So, but it's fun to watch them going through those spoils though, because then Paul picks up something. He's like, "Hey, what's this?"
Yeah.
And then Terry's like, "Give that to me."
Yeah.
And he starts smelling. He's like, "Oh, boom.
Goes the dynamite."
That's what it was, is dynamite.
Oh man, I freaked out.
Yeah, well, we had multiple listeners reach out to us, say, "Oh my gosh, did you see what they just found?" And I'm like, "Yep."
Dynamite.
I just replied with boom.
It's like it was this episode was targeted at us.
No, at you.
Primarily at you. But you always say boom. Well, and I have to fix it.
It's because it's a filler word. Like,
it is.
You know, it's just something I say to cover up me not knowing what else to say, I guess. So I say, yeah, boom.
And goes the dynamite. Yeah. But then I have to figure out something for other filler words, like so. Every time you say so, I'll be a needle pulling thread.
No.
Just
stop. That's dumb.
You're dumb. That's dumb.
All right. So the piece of dynamite that Paul had, you know, they were sniffing and they were passing around.
Yep.
The little tiny strip that smelled like gunpowder. It smelled like it was fresh. I think
fresh out of the caisson.
Well, I mean, Terry said it smells like this was lit off yesterday, basically. Mm-hmm. You know, it was fresh. It didn't. What?
I was saying it's just like it's encased, it's preserved in that particular area.
Yeah. Then like Robert Clotworthy, you know, comes in as the
Sir Robert of Clotworthy,
awesome narrator he is, and he explains that they found a piece of. They may have been drilling right in the tube where the Oak Island Treasure Company, led by Frederick Blair, drilled 5 boreholes and stuffed dynamite down them to try to blow up that box drain or flood tunnel or whatever, right?
Yep.
The flood tunnel is what it is. They're trying to eliminate the flood tunnel, bust it up, shut them all off, and it didn't work. Instead, it made everything boil.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that. That was a pretty good story.
Boiling, I was like, wow. I mean, that would have to be a lot of dynamite to make it that hot all the way back at the money pit, because Rick was like, yeah, it boiled in the money pit. I mean, I can understand.
And in the cave-in pit. That's what he said. Water came up and boiled in the cave-in pit too.
The question is, did it boil or did it just bubble? Because it would make sense to be pushing the air and
but
such.
It's explosions and hot water, or, you know, fire and.
Yeah, but that would be a lot. I mean, I feel like that would take a lot of firepower to make it hot enough all the way there for that all to boil. I know how long it takes to get a pot of water boiling on the stove, and that's a lot less water.
Okay, but this is dynamite, like pressurized dynamite underground. Okay,
I get it.
It's literally gonna go boom. Like a big giant boom. I bet nobody was near that thing when they let those suckers
I sure
off.
hope not. It feels like a cartoon.
They went back and checked the money pit's like Old Faithful at this point. You know, it's like bubbling up. Guys are like going crazy, right? Wouldn't that be insane to see?
Oh my gosh!
Too bad they didn't have a camera back in the day.
Well, you know what? I still think of like Coyote the Roadrunner, and you know that whole cartoon, and they're like using dynamite to blow each other up. I see them on Oak Island digging holes, throwing stuff in there, trying to catch the Roadrunner, and boom.
Yeah, well, it always backfires, doesn't it? Always backfires.
It does. And I guess the backfire this time was the money pit. Oh, man.
Bubble.
Toil and trouble.
The money pit was in trouble that day. It's too bad he didn't like spew out like gold coins.
Right? I was just thinking the same thing. Do we take that approach at 10X? Like,
just throw a bunch of dynamite down there
and see
if a poo flies out of the latrine that's just next to it in the mega bin.
See if we can test out this theory.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
no more dynamite on Oak Island, please. That messes up too much stuff.
Dave used to just go and get it at the corner store.
Hey, Dad, got your dynamite. Yeah, I mean,
what if that was actually some of Dave's dynamite? He was just having a day, and he's like, well, maybe I'll, try to blow something else up.
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I'd be impressed if he got it down that far.
Hey, they drilled down those boreholes the 90 feet back in the 1800s. Boom.
Goes the dynamite.
They did. They sure did. That was cool.
Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
I have to do it on this episode.
Yeah. Cut her some slack. It's all good.
Cut her some slack.
All right. So we have Dan Henske pops in, lends his expertise.
Always.
He's literally the smartest guy on the island. I mean, he knows everything. He's the elder
statesman.
He is the elder statesman. He just knows everything about the island.
Ooh, that feels like a good title for his trading card. The elder statesman.
Yeah.
Now, how do I do that visually?
I've seen what you've done with the Dan Henske trading card.
Yeah.
And I like it, but it doesn't look like Elder Statesman.
No.
You'd have to change the hat.
Well, everybody's going to have multiple cards. Mm-hmm. Like Gary's already got a couple.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, we did a live stream a couple days ago where we explained a little bit of what we're planning. Like last week, the Curse of Oak Island Facebook account posted these sample the Curse of Oak Island trading cards, and they were just fun things to look at, and they're not serious about it or anything. It was just an image that they thought would be fun to share, right? And so Deidre takes that to the next level, and it was really hilarious.
And I have kept taking it to the next.
Yeah, she has been working on this all week, and maybe not all week, but she's been putting a few hours into it every day, and she's made these awesome trading cards that are going to be like, they're basically going to be, could it be Oak Island trader cards, right?
Yes.
And like she has Billy, she has Tony Sampson, she has Robert Clotworthy, she has Alex Lagina. Yep. She's got
Gary and Jack as a dynamic duo.
Oh my gosh, that is one of the best pictures.
Oh, that
one of the best images you made for a trading card.
Man, it's so good.
I can't wait to see that one like when we get it in our hands, when we get it printed. But we made these trading cards as something to give to our patrons from our patreon.com account. So if like, this is, I guess, a little plug for that, but if you go to patreon.com/OakIslandPodcast and subscribe to us at $5, the $5 level or above, you will get a pack of these trading cards per month.
Yeah, you're in the pipeline for it because we haven't got them printed yet, but we did talk to printers yesterday. And what it'll take to get that all done, and we're working on that prototype, and they'll be coming to you soon, guys.
Yeah, and something that's going to be fun we're going to do is we're going to send some of these to the Oak Island people, and what we're going to try to do is get them to like sign a couple of them, send them back to us, and then we'll randomly insert the signed ones into the pool of patrons. And so like, you know, we'll mix it up too. We're not going to know who we're sending these to, but we're going to insert one of the signed cards into one of these packs, maybe one or two. It depends on how many we get back and how many they're able to do for us, right? That's just the fact of the matter. But we're going to try to make sure to get all of those signed ones out to our listeners and our patrons as a thank you for supporting us. Right?
Yep.
And so that's something fun to look forward to.
We can get them signed.
That's assuming we can get them signed, but I mean, come on.
We're gonna give it a shot.
Oak Island people are cool. I think they'll help us out.
Yep.
So anyway, be on the lookout for that. That's gonna be a lot of fun. So sorry to derail us a little bit. We're
almost done here.
We're basically at the end. We're talking about Dan Henske.
Yes.
He comes down, says, "Hey, let's start trying to go more towards the money pit and less of the side to side stuff." Because the side to side stuff, I mean, you could probably detect the anomalies going side to side, but they know the direction toward the money pit. I mean,
we know where we got hits behind the cave-in pit.
Yeah.
The goal is to try to be able to go straight back. Something that's interesting though is now that we have found the dynamite, we're confirming, right? So we finally have some true evidence of what happened of throwing the dynamite down the holes. Fire in the hole! Yeah, I definitely may have said that while watching it. And so we have that actual point. We have some confirmed data. We have a confirmed point. We can log it. I mean, Steve Guptill, I think we're going to see a lot of him this year because...
Yeah, he seems like a permanent fixture.
He does. He'll get on the trading card list.
Yep.
But I think it's interesting that they're being consistent with this first 3 episodes. Okay, we found this. Send Steve out, mark it. Let's get the data entered. Same thing's gonna, with our dynamite. Boom.
Goes the dynamite.
Goes the dynamite.
No, that's my turn to say.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, all this stuff is encouraging for this season, and we know this season is gonna be like what, 25 to 30 episodes. It's going to be a long season.
Means we got 25 to 30.
What?
Episodes.
For what? Us?
For us, yeah. Like for...
Well, good. Lucky you guys. I hope it's lucky you guys.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, they've got a lot to do. They can't find everything every episode. That just doesn't. That's not how treasure hunting works.
No, hunting, not finding.
Yeah, like go listen to some of our other podcasts, the Boots and Armchairs of Treasure Hunters podcast, because we're treasure hunters too, and every time you go out, you definitely don't find something, even if you're live on the island and you're going to be there every day. It's so hard to find stuff. So when they do find it, we need to celebrate it. Like next time on the Curse of Oak Island, they find something kind of cool, right? Gary's metal detecting with Charles.
Oh yeah, because we've already talked about.
It looks like
a
fern leaf or something, right?
Yeah. So I was going through and taking little screenshots to try to get a better idea of what it was, and it did look like a fern leaf. And the expert they took it to said it seemed very nautical, but yeah, around it almost was like a separate setting after they got it cleaned up, and it had this rope or like braiding or something.
It reminded me of like a brooch that the Fellowship of the Ring from Lord of the Rings had, because they had like a leaf brooch that clasps their cloak on, and they have really special cloaks that make them invisible when they cover them up.
You're telling me this is a invisibility cloak clasp?
I hope so. Wouldn't that be awesome? That'd be the most important find of all time.
Wait a second.
Be like,
wait.
What?
That's why the treasure hasn't been found.
It's cloaked?
It's literally got an invisibility cloak on it. Oh
Mind blown.
It probably is in the mega bin. It's literally just sitting. Watch, it's just sitting next to like the head of Nolan's cross, and it's just got a little like tablecloth cloak over it.
That would be nuts.
Solved Oak Island.
I don't think so.
You are welcome.
Yeah. So the next time on continues with Alex and Laird going to test. That's what you were mentioning. They went to test it with an expert, but that was Alex and Laird. I didn't see Gary. Yeah. So
Gary's too busy out finding the invisibility cloak. Maybe he was there wearing the cloak.
Yeah, Alex, like he's taken charge, hasn't he?
He has done great job.
He's way more present, and he seems to be a leader.
He is.
Like I know he's
well spoken.
Yeah, he's always been like involved. But this year he seems more leadership than, hey, go look through these spoils with me or whatever he did before.
Well, I think when they gave him a shot to kind of see what production and see what it's like working on that side over at Civil War Gold, he kind of got in a rhythm. It was a good practice for him, and then he was able to come back to Oak Island with some more ideas, some more understanding, and with those skills, like anything, you practice, you get better. And he came back, and I think he's done a really great job. I saw a couple people picking on him for his gray hair and his and I just want to say,
look at this. Like you can't see it in the podcast, but
I'm pretty sure he's our age.
I think he's the same age as me.
Yes.
He's 37. I got gray hair.
You've got plenty of gray this
I got the stripe.
Yeah,
I have a skunk
that's
stripe.
A new development in the last couple of years. It's come very present, and I got plenty of.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
You're still young and beautiful.
I'm not that much younger than you, and I'm starting to get sparkles. Like a unicorn.
Wow, you're magical.
I am. I'm becoming magical. I'm growing my own invisibility cloak.
What?
I don't know. I feel like
crazy.
Unicorn hair would be used for that.
Yeah, it's woven into a cloak. Sure. Maybe that's why Harry Potter can disappear under it, right?
Yes. I'm going with that. Bippity boppity boom. So leave his gray hair and his crow's feet alone. I'm getting them too. I got bangs, so you couldn't see the fine lines coming in my forehead.
Whatevs.
I'm over it.
We finished with Sonic drilling at the very end of the
Sonic's
next time
coming
on.
to drill. Sorry.
The Hedgehog?
Yeah.
This is the second episode in a row we talked about Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yep.
I'm excited for that movie still.
Maybe they're going to hit a bunch of gold rings that'll come flying.
And it goes ding, 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 every time they collect one. Yeah, that'd be awesome. All right, so Sonic drilling found wood, and it might be a shaft or a tunnel. Dun, dun, dun. And then you're like, well, don't leave me hanging there. And then they leave you hanging there.
I know. It's funny because you see the wood and they're like trying to stack it on top of each other.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, well, it was a fun episode. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I thoroughly
even though
enjoyed
they didn't
it
really
too.
find anything. But
Whatever.
It didn't matter. It was still entertaining.
I loved that we got to see some of the people we don't usually get to see a lot of. We got to see Alex. Paul did a lot more talking.
Oh my gosh, Peter Fernetti. Bam.
Yeah, that was great. Obviously,
it was a really good question to ask too. I'm glad they showed it.
Yeah, I'm glad he's kind of.
And we got to experience Charles' expertise on it right afterward too.
I feel like it's the next generation coming up, learning, doing these fun things. Nowadays, we're sitting in front of the internet like we are right now. Or I just love the stories and the adventures that treasure hunting provides. And I love seeing those like us out there doing it.
They're doing it. They sure are.
Get it.
So that brings us to probably what? Because the episode's over. We have to wait till next week to see the next episode.
Well, why don't we talk about our Clotworthy moments?
Clotworthy moments? What?
I think it could be.
Could it be?
That time.
Mr. Clotworthy? So while you're getting that ready, I tweeted at Mr. Clotworthy yesterday.
You did? That's right.
Yeah, so Mr. Robert Clotworthy, I think he's at Rob_Clotworthy on Twitter. And yeah, so I tweeted at him and he replied. Very nice guy. He's always been very supportive of our Clotworthy moments.
Yeah.
He shares.
Could it be?
He retweets them.
Yes.
It's pretty fun. So Mr. Clotworthy, we asked him, hey, they just announced HistoryCon.
Yeah.
In Pasadena, California.
Are you going to be there?
Are you going to be there? And he's like, huh? Okay, well, no, he didn't say that.
Okay, he did not say huh.
No, he didn't. Because I said, it doesn't look like any of there's no Oak Island presence listed on HistoryCon. Like, why, huh?
Yeah.
How? What?
Seriously, biggest show, guys.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense that they're not there. It has Pawn Stars. It has what else is on History Channel?
Ancient Aliens.
Oh yeah, big Ancient Aliens presence.
Ancient Aliens guys at all the different history cons. Why can't we have Oak Island?
I mean, the thing said, like when you look at the schedule, it says will be updated daily.
Yeah, more coming,
and we will the guests are schedule is subject to change. Yeah. So it's subject to change, and that's good for us because that means there's hope.
Is there a new hope?
There's a new hope. So they had like all these Ancient Aliens guys listed. Like I said, the Pawn Star guys, American Pickers. So I think like they have a good number of their shows represented there, but no one was from the Curse of Oak Island. Like we didn't even have Matty Blake. I'm sure Matty Blake would want to go do something like
I'd be surprised if he wasn't there.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm so surprised Robert Clotworthy wasn't listed because he's the voice not only of the Curse of Oak Island but Ancient Aliens.
Yeah,
and that's like two of their most popular shows.
Yeah, he's on all kinds. I've seen him. I think where is it? Alien Con and a couple other things. He's in California, which is where this is going to be. Yeah. So Rob, I mean, you got to be there, right? It sounded like he was going to be there because when he tweeted back at us, he's like, "Well, man, I'm sure there'll be some kind of Oak Island presence there because it's the biggest show that they have, and I would love to meet the team." And that blew my mind. And we're like, you haven't met the team? I know. Why? Please fly Robert out to Pasadena from like LA. No, I was going to say to the island. I would love to see him there just for like a Matty Blake special. Let's do like a narration in real time. Wouldn't that be hilarious? A real time narration? Yeah. And then he could be in the war room, like at the table, and someone could say something, and all of a sudden he could be like, "Could it be?" That would be epic. I think everybody would tune in for that History Channel. Make it happen, please. I know some of you aren't as big of fans as us, but it would feel wrong. Okay, there was even a point where I think Matty Blake was narrating, and people are like, "It feels wrong." It does. Nothing against you, Matty Blake. You're fine, and you're great, but it doesn't feel right. Do. Yeah, your narration is great too. It's fine. Yeah. But we're so used to Robert Clotworthy. Well, we're now on season 7 of Clotworthy. Was he on the first season? I don't recall. It's been so long since we watched it. I'm sure. But I'm thinking he was. I'm thinking he was. Yeah, he definitely was. If he hasn't met the guys, And I feel like he's part of the team.
Yeah, I think when you look up IMDb for The Curse of Oak Island and you look at the cast, he's number 1 listed because he's been in every episode.
That would make sense.
I think like he's above like Rick and Marty because
he's been in every episode.
I think they there's a couple episodes they haven't been in. I guess I don't recall any episodes they haven't been in, but
one or the other for some reason.
Yeah,
like even Rick at the hospital with Lyme disease.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was gonna say. Even when Rick was like in had Lyme disease, he still managed to make it onto the episode. So
usually,
yeah, but yeah, I mean, HistoryCon sounds like a lot of fun.
It's on our coast.
We want to be there.
We're gonna start saving the pennies.
Well, or
because I don't know how much it's gonna be to go.
Well, I don't know either. Or maybe since they need some more Oak Island presence at the HistoryCon, maybe you and I can do a panel.
Yeah.
Maybe if it's just us and Robert Clotworthy. Maybe it's just us and Robert Clotworthy and Maddie Blake. Or because I don't know, it's happening in April.
Yeah.
2020 next year. I don't know if they're going to be on the island at that point yet.
I think that
it might be. Yeah, I don't know. I think last year, for some reason, my brain, I'm thinking last year they started doing their digging and stuff in May, but I could be wrong. I don't remember. So maybe it's just a scheduling conflict, and they just can't have anybody there because it's too important to have everybody at the island. Maybe
they're just trying to figure out what they can do to make that happen or not happen, or who could or can't be there because of that. You know, it could be very up in the air, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, hey guys, could you, as this last minute thing, how are things going at the island?
I mean, I'm sure they could spare 1 or 2 people. Like, send Jack. Send Alex.
You know what? They need to send Laird.
Oh my gosh.
That would be
HistoryCon. He's Mr. History.
Yeah.
Or Charles.
Yes. Man, Charles, that would be awesome.
You know who would be great? Randall Sullivan.
Yes. He's on this coast too.
He lives in Portland. Like,
Randall,
close to us.
Let's carpool. We'll pick you up.
Go down to
and
HistoryCon.
Let's take a road trip.
We'll go visit the little old lady from Pasadena.
We're a fun road trip.
Go, Granny, go, Granny, go, Granny, go. Yeah?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Make a killer playlist.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably fly, but that's fine.
Unless Randall wants to take a road trip.
That'd be cool, too.
We'll pick up Robert on the way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
That'd be a fun car ride.
That would be an epic car ride.
We'd probably just be busting up laughing the whole time.
I hope they're into 90s music.
I bet you they're just a riot and fun to be with.
Oh, yeah.
I bet you. And super knowledgeable, and we could pick their brains all the way. They'll probably get annoyed of us, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's
maybe not.
Very possible.
Yeah, so anyway, hey, we're going to campaign to do a panel at HistoryCon. Why not?
Why not?
Why not? It'd be fun. They need some kind of Oak Island thing. What's it going to hurt? We're available. We'll do it.
Yep. Could it be?
I mean, come on. That'd be sweet. They need some kind of presence of Oak Island there. Mm-hmm. We're available. I'm sure we can get a couple other people that are, part of the show. Mm-hmm. Make it happen, please.
That'd be cool.
I mean,
send Doug.
Okay. If they don't want to panel with us, that's fine.
Okay.
Get somebody from the show to be there, please, because we want to go and we want to interact with them, and it would be great.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right. Ta-da. I think it's time to Clotworthy now.
Yeah, sorry, that was a big tangent, but it was an important tangent because it's something that's approaching quickly.
It is approaching quickly, just like
5 months from now.
2020.
Yep. All right, Clotworthy moments.
All right.
What won last week?
You want to know?
Do we have a?
Let's hear it.
Let's do it.
A major mining or tunneling operation.
Dun, dun, dun.
A major mining or tunneling operation. It sounds like was it a landslide?
It was kind of a landslide, and that's too bad because I like the other one personally better. But
it's not all about you.
I know, but maybe it's because that's what people are hoping is the real theory behind the whole thing. Maybe they want that to be so true that they voted for that.
Well,
Clotworthy moment.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, maybe.
And because it's
possibly could
awesome.
It be?
Could it?
It could.
All right. Now we have 2 new ones for this week.
Okay, I'm excited to hear them. I thought there was some good potential Clotworthy moments.
These feel like very unique moments, maybe a little bit different than what we're used to from Sir Robert of Clotworthy. Okay, ready?
Let's hear him.
The eye of the swamp. Could Marty Lagina have just identified a link between the mysterious anomaly at the apex of the triangle-shaped swamp and the ancient symbol of the all-seeing eye.
I love it.
I had to leave that last part in because we talk so much about the eye that the all-seeing eye. I mean, it felt like I couldn't just get the first part. We had to talk about the eye.
We had to. Oh, he had to, and you had to bring it up. So thank you.
Oh,
that was a good one. I love that one.
Yes.
That's one's gonna be hard to beat. So what else do you got?
The only possible contender.
Okay, let's hear it.
Dynamite, found buried some 95 feet deep below the beach at Smith's Cove, and in the same area as the island's legendary flood tunnel. But what does it mean?
I had to leave the end. But what does it mean?
Oh my gosh. All right, that one's really good too. That's a tough one.
Like the only reason it can contend is because of all the booms and the dynamites and how many of them are used in the show. But the Eye of the Swamp,
they're both really good.
They are really. I might be a little disappointed if the boom gets shunned.
How can you be disappointed? These are probably the best contenders we've ever had.
Dynamite contenders.
Yeah, and that was so weird. Like he's like Dynamite. Like he said it matter of factly rather than
it wasn't a question.
Yeah,
it was Dynamite, not Dynamite.
Yeah, that was good.
So that was good. Fun.
Well, thank you for sharing those. And if you want to vote, you can go to YouTube. Actually, you can vote on YouTube, right? So Deidre set it up for voting on YouTube, where you can like something will pop up on the screen and you can click it, right?
Yeah. People usually point to the top like this and say, hey, it'll be right here. So I'm gonna give that a shot.
Okay.
And you can click there and vote, and then we can include it.
Yes. So ta-da, YouTube people.
Look,
that's
at
awesome
magic.
for you.
Look, we're learning.
Yeah. And then we've got Twitter and we got Facebook. So twitter.com/OakIslandPod.
Yes.
Is that good enough?
Yes, that's good enough.
Okay, find us on Twitter at OakIslandPod. Is that good? Okay.
Find us on Facebook at Oak Island Podcast.
There you go. And both of those will have options for you to tweet, for voting of the Clotworthy moment of the week.
Yes, they will. And even if you want to find us on social media just to have a chat, that's cool. You can find us at any of those places. And then you can also find us on Instagram. You won't be able to vote, but that's at Oak Island Podcast.
Okay. So we have Instagram, we have YouTube, we have Facebook, Twitter. So you can find us all those places. You can also email us, and that is OakIslandPodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, it is.
And you know what's crazy? We have this phone line, right? This Oak Island Podcast phone line, and people have been ringing it off the hook this week. And I'm not kidding. We had maybe not off the hook. We've had at least 5 calls this week. And unfortunately, nobody's left a message because I think they're like, did we get the wrong number? Because
just like we said last week we were going to do. Maybe as soon as we finish this, we need to record that voicemail.
I think we do.
So let's do that. I promise it will be up.
Yeah, I hope so, because I'm really sad that we missed all these calls. Like literally while we were recording the podcast, I looked down at my phone and I was like, oh, it's another missed call from the Oak Island Podcast line that we failed about. So if you guys have called, we're sorry. And we will set that up and call back, please, because we want to hear from you guys.
Yeah, call, leave a message and say it. And on that message, you could leave a review if you want.
Sure.
You could just say something about Oak Island. You could say something not about Oak Island, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, just if you have anything to say, say it.
Say it. Leave it there.
And if you want to call us, it is 360-836-4549. And that will go to our voicemail line, and then you'll be able to leave us that voicemail. Yep. And we do apologize for it not being set up properly. We said we were going to do it last week. And
drop the ball.
Well, life happens, right? We just had a lot of stuff happening this week.
Yep. The other thing we spoke about, which I'll put a link in the description, is the Patreon. So if you want to become a patron and contribute to the podcast, then you can find us on there at Oak Island Podcast, right?
Yeah, it's patreon.com/Oak Island Podcast.
Yep.
And you can support us, and we would appreciate it. And everybody that has, you're awesome. So far, we have a few patrons, and we want to thank a couple of them this episode.
Yes.
We have Julie D, and we have Reggie W.
Yep.
So thanks, you guys. We really appreciate it.
Those are our two newest.
Well, we are only going to thank two for now, unless we get a whole bunch, then we'll have to thank them. You know. But if you're going to get a shout out if you subscribe. Reggie is actually the guy that sent me that map earlier.
That's right.
Of Oak Island attached to the mainland still as a peninsula.
Yep. So, thank you, Reggie.
Thank you, Reggie. Thank you, Julie D.
Yep.
And just thank you to everybody that thinks about going and supporting us. So.
Thank you for listening, subscribing, all the things.
Yeah. Make sure you're subscribed if you haven't done that yet. So, speaking of, another way you can support us, and that doesn't cost money, is you can go to either Facebook or you could go to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review.
Yep.
So we have a couple of 5-star reviews from Apple Podcasts to share this week.
Awesome.
And you ready for them?
I'm ready for them. Let's hear them.
So the first one is from Jerry, and it says in Colorado, and it says first podcast review ever.
Oh,
5 stars.
I'm honored.
Yeah. I have been listening to podcasts for 3 years, and this is one of the best recap shows around.
Aww.
Dustin and Deidre are amazing hosts. Their love for the show comes through loud and clear. They keep it light with their humor and their 90s references. I have never missed an episode and always look forward to the next. Boom!
Goes the Dynamite!
He actually put in parentheses, goes the Dynamite, because I think he expected you to say that.
Oh, you rock.
It worked.
Oh,
Jerry,
that's awesome.
You're a genius.
Jerry the genius. Now he needs a card. Yeah, I have a Jerry the genius.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Jerry. We really appreciate that awesome review. That was killer.
I love that. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate that you appreciate the 90s references, because I know they can get old, but really, they're nonstop at our house.
Because we can't
stop, won't stop.
And we won't stop.
Get it?
Yeah.
Next.
Well, actually, that reminds me of something else real quick. Before it's Oak Island related. We made a couple of cool videos this week.
Oh, yes.
Using the Jib Jab website. Jib Jab allows you to put faces on different bodies.
Yes.
And Deidre made a couple of these videos where she put like Rick's face overlaid on Vanilla Ice's face.
Yes.
And his mouth opens up and he sings, and it's actually the music video for Ice Ice Baby.
Yeah.
With Rick and Gary and who else? Is it Marty and Craig, I think?
Yeah.
They're all dancing, doing like Ice Ice Baby dance.
Oh,
it was hilarious. And then she did another one with the Backstreet Boys.
Yep.
Both of them really good. You can find them on Twitter. Like we were able to post them on Twitter. We weren't able to post them on Facebook for some reason.
One of them, the Backstreet Boys one is on YouTube. So I got that figured out.
Yeah, check that out. It's so funny. So like I was dying. I was busting up laughing. Our friend from Booze and Bourbon,
yes,
Kimberly.
Yeah.
When she saw him, she said she was just crying. Like it was so funny. She loved Jack as the vampire guy in the Backstreet Boy video. Oh my gosh, so funny.
We just want to make you smile.
Yeah, it's just to make you smile. That's right.
Yep.
And if you get a chuckle out of it, great. So go look at those. Anyway, the second review we have is from NY Rangers 30, so New York, probably, right?
Probably a good guess.
So New York NY Ranger 30 says, "Come on already, History Channel. ... It is 5 stars. It says, and make this the official podcast of the Curse of Oak Island." I like hearing that. That's sweet. Thanks. Informative and fun show for all the fans of the Curse of Oak Island. A must listen for all the acorns out there. Keep up the great work and look forward to hearing your insights from the new season and beyond.
To infinity?
Sure.
And beyond?
Well, I mean, he probably expects us to podcast about next season too.
Hey, I plan on it.
We plan on it. We'll be there.
The
NY
more
Rangers
episodes,
30.
We'll be here.
Yeah. So, hey, thank you so much for that.
Yes,
review
thank
too.
you.
Jerry, NY Ranger 30. You guys are awesome.
Thank you. We really appreciate it. And we do read all the reviews. We read all your feedback. It's important for us. We believe in constantly improving, and we really appreciate the way you've really lifted us up, and it helps us, stay motivated and keep doing it.
Well, I'm going to keep being motivated. I'm having so much fun doing this. So.
Keep on keeping on.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks for the nice words, and thanks for being awesome listeners. Not just those two, everybody.
All the people.
Yeah.
All the rad listeners.
Rad.
All
right, so I guess that's it.
I guess that is it.
You want to now we can do our banter? Is it allowed at this point?
I think
or we already do our banter.
We do it all the way through the episode.
Well, how was your week?
Good.
That's probably how we usually start the
probably the same as your week.
My week was fantastic.
Well,
yours was just good, so I don't think it's the same. Right?
I guess not.
Savvy?
Oh man, that makes me think of the pirates and the converting of Dave into a pirate and some other people on those cards.
Those trading cards?
Yeah.
So we have Dave the pirate. Is that a hint?
Dave the pirate. There's plenty of other ones.
Those trading cards, we're gonna get a couple made this week.
Yeah.
And next week we'll actually during our Facebook Live that we'll do.
Next week they'll probably get made.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna do a Facebook Live probably on Tuesday before the episode, so it's like a pre-show.
Yes.
Right. And that's something that we're doing on our Facebook page next week. But going forward after next week, it's going to be something that's only available to patrons in a private patron group.
Yep.
And that's at any level you can join, and you can make sure you get in on that because we had a great time last week.
2, 5, 25, all the things.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a really fun episode last week, and we'll have like physical cards in our hand next Tuesday to show you guys.
Yes,
and that will be what the patrons past next month will get. Once the patron thing starts really rolling, they'll get those trading cards, and they are going to be fantastic. They're hilarious.
We're excited.
They're not like mean or anything. They're very fun.
We love all the guys.
Yeah, they're fun, and they're I think the guys at Oak Island, I think they'll love them.
I really hope so. I want to send some to them. Why don't we send like a bunch of Billy cards to Billy?
Well, he's the one we can actually send stuff to that we know will get to him because he has his own business, and we can find the business address and send it out.
Marty has his own.
Marty Vineyards, yep.
Okay.
It's just hard to know how to get a hold of the other guys because if we send them to Oak Island right now, it's like the middle. It's going to be winter.
Yeah.
They're not going to be there.
No.
So maybe we'll see what we can do to make it happen. It'd be cool.
Tony's got his own business, right? Maybe we can find that.
I'm friends with a few of the guys on Facebook. I think you are too. We can reach out to them, see what we can do. It will be fun. And then probably the first month probably won't have any signature randomly inserted in, but hopefully the next month will. But we'll see.
Well, we're crossing our fingers that they even get them, sign them, and return them.
Of course. That's a pie in the sky hope. And it'll be just a random luck of the draw thing.
Maybe we can get them to show up to History Con and just sit there and we can. I mean, their hands might cramp. I would love to get like a full signed set and be able to auction it off for charity, and just like one set that's fully signed, and be able to do that, and then the random ones would go into our patron packs.
That would be fun.
I think that would be cool.
It would be.
Could it?
You say that a lot.
Sorry.
It's fine. No, I think it would be fun.
Yeah.
That would be really cool, and we'll just see how that all goes down.
Okay, well, until next time.
Could it be?
Guys, we're in the eye of the storm now.